Okay, everybody, we're going to do a draw along or a follow along, and I'm just going to draw. You can do this if you want to. I'll try to remember to put this reference on, and if not, you can just do your own. Anyway, so here we go. That's my little focuser for my camera. All right, I'm going to put it on to demo mode, and hopefully you can enjoy this drawing as we go. Okay, so of course, first things first, right? I'm going to block everything out. I'm going to measure what we have here. So what I'm going to do is do my overall measurement. Ooh, it's almost twice. Or it's more than, the whole thing's about 2. Okay, so if I go like that, and then gotta mark it up there, middle, and then to there. Okay, I think that'll be about good. So I'm trying to get my overall sizing here. Okay, that'll include that little shadow, so that's all right. Okay, so there's kind of my box, right? It's kind of where I want everything to be in the composition itself, or I should say in the subject composition. So, I think I'm going to include that shadow. So that shadow will be okay, it's about 2.5. So I can come over. Okay, it's pretty close. So I can put it about right there. This guy's pretty low here. My anchor point there. Here, right here is a little spot, and it is real close to half, just inside half. So I'm gonna put that there, and then my high point here almost hits that 2.5-ish type thing. 3, maybe even slightly more. Okay, I'm gonna put that there. So I'm gonna put that as my anchor point right there. Okay, here we go. Some major divisions. How far down is that dog head? 2. Just a little less than 1/4. So if that's half-ish there, so that's about where the dog's head will be. Okay, I've got an angle there to there. That looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm just going to start drawing this guy out. How far in does that paw go? Does the paw go 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, just a little bit less than a 1/6. That's about there. And how far up is that joint? Ooh, under half. So I'm going to go down here. So that helps me build that. And the paw will come down faster and further and hit out there, a little higher than I think. Okay. Once I have that established, I can start using other points on the dog. Like once I know where that how far it is from the edge to there, then this little point there is just inside of there. So I can start to do that and move things around a little bit. Okay, I know I have kind of this line between these two that are out there. The shadows come in a little bit. Let's see, I want to know from the shadow to the foot. Ooh, got some good wind going on there outside, blowing my studio around. I don't know if you can hear my studio shaking. In fact, it's making all of my cameras shake. It's not an earthquake. It's just wind. Got these mounted to my ceiling. And when it shakes the whole place. Yeah, that's pretty close. Okay. So his little foot comes to about there. And the shadow's there. So the foot comes up there. Okay, so what I'm trying to do, of course, is just mark out a whole bunch of kind of key spots for structure, but then also now I want to start marking out key lights and darks. Okay, and so, wow, some crazy wind out there. They say it's going to shake my cameras a little bit. I apologize. But I'm going to keep moving here. Okay, as I kind of get some of these things blocked down, I'm blurring down, trying to create as much cohesive shadow shape as I can. And it's a little bit tough at deciding what to make shadow shape. I can go ahead and include all that. Little paw sticks out. Most of this is in shadow. And whoops, not all that, but that's okay. We don't want to be afraid of building shadow. Well, that whole ear thing I don't have in there. Half. Okay, 3. Okay, so that's what I have missing there. This goes up there, and then I have a whole nother shape in there. Okay. Got those in there. Got that. A little arm. Okay, it's kind of right in there. We'll pull that back out as we need to, but I don't want to be afraid of setting up shadow shapes, okay? Shadow under there. Kind of comes across here. But anyway, so that's what we're talking about when we say set up shadow shapes. And we got those going on. And then I'm going to go ahead and decide on a background. And I think it will be about right there. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and build that up around there. Now it's not real dark. I haven't committed a lot of dark to this, but I will, right? So I kind of have a medium tone going here. It's a little bit darker. It should be in some spots, and it needs to be darker in others, but that's okay. We'll get this built up here and work it from there. Okay, so I got to push myself along here. Okay, I think I'm going to go in darker. I'm going to just go ahead in with some chalk. It's go ahead and commit to some spots. And if I'm off, I'll have to fix them, but that's okay. I'm going to move along on this. And just get it to start falling together quickly. I don't want this to be a terribly long video. Too late, right? Oh, shoot. Okay, this is where I keep leaving out one item. I'm going to come up there. I'm going to push the shadow down here around that. This big shadow that goes up in there. One comes out around that foot. And then another kind of a little double shadow thing there. Okay, and again, I might have those really wrong, and we'll see what happens when we go to develop them. Up in here it gets pretty dark, so I'm going to go ahead and commit. Again, what you want to do is take time. Oh, I keep forgetting that one feature over and over, so I'm just cutting right through it, darn it. Okay, so it never hurts to slow down and measure everything. Measure more, measure more, measure more. Okay, but I'm trying to keep this quick, so I'm going to eyeball a lot of my measurements, but I've got enough established there that I think it's going to work okay to do it. So now some things may suffer slightly inaccuracy if I'm not stopping to measure physically, but we need to get this done. So hopefully my cameras aren't jiggling much anymore. I'm sure I say that and then it starts to go. Okay. Probably. Okay, I'm gonna move that in there. Hopefully I won't be messing that up too much. Little paw, little arm. And feels pretty good as to where that's sitting. Got that little dark shirt on. Anyway, so what I want to do is still group my darks as many as I can, right, in the main areas. So okay, I can come back for details later. Okay, so in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and commit to a few little features here. And shape those in. Oh, wow. Okay. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully I'm not just cruising through it too quickly. But hopefully you can see kind of what I'm doing and kind of decisions I'm making. And go from there. Okay, get my fingers really dirty. Coming in to claim that dark, push it in with my fingers, right? I could do it with the paper towel and it would go a bit darker, but the paper towel would also pull up a lot of the material. Okay, so there, kind of got some basics out there. I'm gonna go ahead with the shadow. I shouldn't do this with chalk. I shouldn't say I shouldn't do it with chalk, but it's a bigger commitment to do it with chalk. But I'm gonna get that out there. I guess I do have most of that established. Okay. Okay, can you see the lump of stuff kind of coming together now? Okay. What I want to do is start refining things just a little bit. Okay. So I need to get some new erasers. And okay, so here I know I've got some tone on the dog. In fact, I might need to pick up some. And he's got some, brown colored paw and head thing going on. Up around here and then down through there, right? Okay, he's got kind of that white snout and forehead. Okay, this comes down pretty tight through there. Okay. And I'm trying to think of any other kind of mid-tone items. These don't have a lot of light on them. Those feet, I'm going to push that down. Okay. I can trim up that little paw. It'll be smaller than I think. And we're starting to kind of get there. Okay. So you want to see where that strongest light's hitting it and not overdo lights. You want some contrast also. Okay, so this is where starting to clean up a little bit some of this light area. I'm not too worried about those little marks out in the light area. They're not going to hurt anything. And anyway, so now I'm going to commit in that little dark shadow. See if I have enough charcoal on my finger. Pull off a little shadow under his little hoof. No, I'm just kidding. Under his little paw. Also, think about texture. We haven't talked about texture much, probably at all. And so, well, we have a little bit with the linear stuff. Okay. So think about texture and what kind of textures do we have going? How do they read? Right? And stuff like that. Okay. So you're just kind of considering all the tones. And what they're telling you. Okay, I am really trying to keep this not too long. First, just so I can load it. Okay. But I'm just working through, just kind of refining shapes as I go. And when I think shapes, I mostly think about shadows, the shadow shapes, right? And object shapes. But I don't want to get too mesmerized by object. I mean, I do. You want to come in, you want to become more accurate with the object and what it's doing. But building the shapes is going to do that for you. And I hope that's kind of what you can understand is just build these shapes and the form of the object's going to appear. It's going to come out there for you. Okay. Let's see. Now I should measure. I should measure. I'm measuring with my eye. Pretty good. And that's a pretty dark spot. So I'm going to put that nose in there. Okay. And I should do a chalk just to commit. But I'm putting that in there. Now, I want to play with the shape once I've got that built. Make sure I have it kind of looking like what's on the reference. Okay. And go from there. Now it's kind of light down here, so I can pull up some of that shadow. Okay. I actually have some reflected light or something going on down here. Kind of really lightens that up down there. Okay, can you see it starting to come forward? Now again, I want to overdo a dark area so then I can chisel into it best with my eraser. Okay, great spot here for texture. You know, shape your eraser, make a little chisel of the end of it. Have it start making marks that make sense to the object or subject, right? Start to get that in there. I'm kind of going through this quickly. Sometimes quick is good. Sometimes just going with your gut. I haven't talked about that yet, but I often say just take what you do know and what you can do and just barf it out there. Meaning, take the tools you do have and the understanding you do have, just let it fly, right? When you barf, when you throw up, you don't stop to think about it, right? You're just using what you have to get done what you need to, or it's just happening by reflex. And so you want to have tools that you've practiced so that they do come out by reflex and become part of your effort there. Anyway, kind of a dumb analogy, but that's the way it goes. Okay, so get that in there. Now, I want to be really careful with this eye shape. I should take a lot more time on it. I'm going to gesture this in here. And anyway, the way to catch expression is to really make sure you're getting the right shapes in place. So I don't want to make it look angry because he doesn't look angry. Just got a little dog eye in there. Okay. Now, a little shadow in there. I don't want to pull that away. Get it to be where it needs to be. A nice little highlight there on the fur. Things going on, kind of disappears in there. That's great. So we're kind of moving him along. He's starting to form up a bit. Okay, let's do that other eye. I guess we shouldn't ignore that. Now, what I really should be doing is measuring really carefully how far apart these little eye features are. You know? Okay, and you'll notice I'm doing more than I need. Okay. Then I'll come back in here and pull those out. Now there may be a little bit of regret here because it'll be hard to get all that charcoal up. But I don't want to over worry what I'm doing. Just make the marks. It'll clean up enough to become what you need it to be. In other words, you'll be able to reclaim the lights enough. Every once in a while, like say you do want to preserve some light area. You know it's going to be especially light area for something, but quite often not a big deal. Okay. Overdo something, just push it back. Okay, yeah, it's a nice transition between kind of light side and shadow side. You know, a lot of this is quite light. Okay, it's got 2 or 3 real distinct cut-ins of fur from the light side to the shadow side. So I'm going to capture those just a little bit. They kind of come down into here, and I'm not going to worry too much. A couple of things going on here. Whoops, too much, but I'm not worried about it. We can work that around. And just remember, if you don't like something, time is your healer, right? You gotta, if you want to really refine something, then you gotta give yourself the time to do it, okay? And that's what, so to speak, detail is all about. And again, I just don't like that word detail because detail isn't good just because it's there. You got to ask yourself, do you need it, and is it effective? Is it helping tell the story, or is it just too much information? Okay. And so those are the kind of things you need to ask yourself with refinement, with making specifics. Is it helping me? Is it helping tell the story? And if it's not, don't put it in or don't emphasize it at all. If it's structural, get it in there. But if it's a distraction, then don't emphasize it very much. Right? And these are all the thousands of decisions you'll make. I just changed my horizon line there accidentally, but that's okay. Okay. So you see him start to come alive a little bit. And again, overbuild with charcoal, especially just kind of the softly applied charcoal. And then reclaim what you need. Okay. Now all that's not that light either, so there's got to be some texture put up in there and kind of pushed down a little bit. All right. Okay, what else do we need down here? Just a little bit of texture, a little bit of conversation happening down here. Okay. Now you'll notice too, there's this little place right here of dark. I don't even know what that is. I mean, like, I'm not worried about exactly what that is. I just need it, right? It's just part of the composition. And that's as important almost as anything else. But so take your time on it, get it in there, but just let it be what it is. I'm not even sure and not really that concerned about it because it's just part of what's making up the lights and darks here. Oh yeah, I need to go in and just soften that barely. Come in and drag that eye color out of there. I'm going to leave it at that right there, or I'll overdo it. I'll get into it, and then there's a little dark thing up in there, so I can put that up there and reclaim the lighter parts. And I'm being too lazy at not cleaning out my eraser as much as I should be. Okay, but it's starting to kind of fall into place. Okay. It's not heavy in core shadow and stuff like that, but it's there. It's there. If we really looked, you'd see some core shadow. I definitely have cast shadow. Definitely have a little bit of reflected light here and there. But core shadow on soft things like this is a little bit harder to pull out. But if you look for it, you'll find it. You'll find it. Okay. So anyway, things to play with. And what's fun is with this texture, just kind of get a feel for the texture and let it be a forgiving thing, right? Let it be something that you break up and just let it go. Okay, I might have that just a little bit the wrong shape. Yeah, either that or a lot bit the wrong shape. I'm gonna whittle that back a little bit. Okay, and it's kind of like that. So the face is starting to come forward. Let me check my time. Okay, I want to hustle this along. Try to be done in about 10 minutes. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so here we go. I'm gonna try to move fast. And maybe we'll have to do like a part 2 to this to do like the real refinement. At the same time, sometimes not refining it is so much better. Just capturing the spirit, the essence of what you're looking at can just work beautifully. Okay. Now I'm using my paper towel here. Oh, I really need to make a better edge. The paper towel's kind of soft. Okay, and I'm working through trying to reclaim these deep shadow spots, shadow areas. Okay. I have to move some things around. That's fine. It's pretty dark through there. Just kind of reclaiming those. Like they'll start to work. Sometimes even. Okay, a couple things here. After you've done some development on an area, move through the rest of the drawing. Partially just because if you only get a little bit more done, or say you only have time to do this much everywhere. And we've talked about this, where then at least everywhere will be finished the same, and it'll be a finished drawing, right? It won't be something you're like, you need to come back and work on that someday. It's like, okay, I only took it to that level, but it's balanced and it's done to that point, you know? So that's why I'm pushing around here, coming around, trying to find similar developments that I can work with, okay? It stays pretty dark down in there. Okay, so we're kind of pushing him around a little bit. And let's do these refinements here. Okay, just gotta force myself. Keep working here. Okay, I'm just gonna come in, claim these light shapes that are happening in here. Okay, again, I'm eyeballing, kind of intuitive, jumping into some of these. Okay, and you can go ahead and overdo it light. All I have to do is just pull a little of your material back through it. Okay, so don't worry if you pull up too much. Easy, just rub over it real quick with a dirty finger, so to speak, you know, or your towel or something, and just reclaim it right there. Has a pretty strong light to it. Okay, I'm going to fade up into there. That's going to come out this way. And kind of come in here. I don't know if I left enough room for this feature very well. It's kind of going to be truncated a little bit. Or I just have that too far out. Maybe I need to, you know what, I'm going to make a on-the-fly commitment to push back this little foot. I may have overcommitted to how much space he needs. And if not, that's okay. It can be slightly different than what I'm looking at here. How do you put it? If it resembles or looks natural, then nobody's going to question it. Does that make sense? The only time I've really had to be crazy specific with artwork, especially professional stuff I've done, is if it's a portrait, you know, and not that it can't be finished nice and loose and gestural. You totally can do a portrait that way. In fact, they're usually quite beautiful that way. And I wish we had more time to talk about that. But and then I did a little belt buckle sculpture for hen raisers, for people that raised competitive fowl, you know, birds, and they needed that thing to be like, what do you call it, like feather specific. So it had to be perfect. But most of the time, it looks kind of like it, and it's working, and it looks natural, which usually has to do with how you structure it. If you structured it well, then it'll probably look natural. Okay. Anyway, spending too much time on that guy. Gotta move on. Catch a light here. Okay, again, just a little texture in there. So I'm dancing around, giving a little texture. That's all. That'll probably be enough for now. A little shape refinement, and I'm looking at these subtle divisions of light and dark now. Okay, there's some more subtle divisions up in there. You can play with them. If they're too loud, just push them back down, right? If you do it and it's talking to you too loudly, it's like, ooh, I overdid that. Just push it back down. Subdue it a little bit, and it'll be fine. Okay, I'm just having a little bit of conversation that's going on in here. And that's plenty. It's plenty for now. Not exactly sure I can overdid that. Don't want that looking linear. I want that to look like a tone. Okay. Okay, so let's get over here to Mr. Pooh. Claim that little light that's hitting that foot. Okay, just let that pop out there. And claim the back side of it. Still lighter than the shadow next to it. So So I'm going to give it that contrasting, division there. But I got to make sure I don't just think to myself, oh, that's yellow. That's going to be really light. Okay. Lighter than perhaps the elements right next to it. But it's not crazy light. Okay, I'm going to come up here and establish these guys. Pretty close to my initial shadow. I'm going to push that down just a little bit. You can see my construction is basically fading away, right? That I used to build it. You know that. These marks I made are starting to disappear into what I'm drawing. And every once in a while, you got to maybe do a little trick to do something to hide them a little bit or subdue them a little bit, but that's no big deal. Just do it. Make other marks around it sometimes to hide it, or to just mesh it in with other marks, right? And that's a long shadow there. I like that long shadow. And I may have mismeasured there a little bit, but I'm not too concerned. I just want to get that nice feel, that nice long shadow there. Okay. There we go. Okay. Sorry about all my gruntings and and so forth. But you know how it is when you draw. You gotta make noise. It's hard work. It really is hard work. But I love it. I always love how people from other professions think you're just having fun. Now you should enjoy it. At the same time, this is hard work. If only they gave it a try, they might appreciate it. Little coarse shadow in there. I don't know if you can see that. A nice little coarse shadow on the base of that foot. I might have that a little bit dark. I'm going to push that up slightly. Reclaim some of this light up here. I'm going to push that down just a little bit. Okay, there's a little shape of that foot. Knock it down up there. Oops, I bring it up here. I just undid some of that shadow that I wanted to preserve. Okay. Just a little division in here, little like structural overlap, little division of the two. This little dark spot right there. Now, especially on my nice little like reflective light, trapping a little coarse shadow back there. This looks beautiful. Okay, now gotta refine those sometime. Okay, but I just kind of have those little feet in there, and it actually helps me to look at my projection on the camera from the screen because you can see shapes that I haven't refined quite right. Okay, I'm gonna try to hurry and finish up here where I'm at time-wise. Okay, I gotta get done. Again, this is just a draw along. You don't have to do this, but this is what we would be doing in class, right? We'd be watching each other produce. I'd be able to come around and see how you're doing. You can see how I'm finishing things and go from there. Okay, so that's what we would be doing. Okay, can I get away with, I can't pick up my charcoal, so. Stays pretty dark in there. And get some other dark in here. Anyway. Okay, let's make some big decisions real quick. Get this finished up. Adding just a little bit to that. Got some shadow up in there. Yeah, nice little shadow in there. Nice heavy shadow there. So let's see. I'm just trying to build this so just launch into this kind of quickly. Got a little tone I need to work with up here, just a little bit there, and a little bit through here, through here. Okay, so here we go. So I'm just going to add a little bit of texture right there. That's coming through. So a little bit of light appearing on his little honey-filled belly right there. So I'm going to let that come forward just a little bit. Anyways, pulling that out just slightly. A couple little things going on here structurally. Not exactly sure, but I'll just play him a little bit there. Okay. His shirt comes up into the darkness here, but it's kind of dark on dark. That's why I just went ahead and did the shadow around it initially. And it just takes nothing to draw in that little shirt into the dark, right? It just pops right out of there. So that's why you don't really want to worry too much about any details till you have all the tones built, and so then you can put them in, put the refinements and details in the right place. Thinking in that little shadow, overdid it, that's okay. I can pull that into here. I gotta stay a little bit darker. And over here we can do a little texture and highlights. And pull those back out. Whoops, kind of destroyed my nice little shadow, but oh well. We'll leave it for now. That stays nice and dark down in there. And catch a little light on this little shirt just for a second. Okay, it's just starting to appear there. Okay, let's, this is not marvelous, and there's a lot of texture and things to be added to this. Let's get his little face kind of finalized here. Okay, the hardest thing, honestly, is going to be just those little eyes and his nose, because I don't want to overdo it, and I don't want to go just chalk on, because it's going to be so loud if I do just chalk on. Okay, little eye. Man, I just need the smallest little dot. So I'm really overdoing that. I may regret that. We'll see. Maybe I should have gone in with chalk, but too often I'll go in with chalk to do a little something, and it's just too much. It's just too loud. And I come in, work around it, and I may regret going so big there with that. I may not have the right shape. I went too quick, but little nose, maybe more down right here. It's smaller than I was thinking. And this little eye, carve in, find down here. Little face comes around there. Now, you can really, believe it or not, you got to work on the expressions, even on these little guys. So sometimes you really got to work these a bit. Okay, so we're getting close. I want to wrap this up. It's getting really long. Okay, whoops, that was an overdue. Getting that structure in there, that structure. And up here we just have a little texture. In fact, I'm going to push the shadow in there. Just pull the texture up into there. It's got that ear that needs just a little bit of reclaiming. And then the texture around the edge of the ear would be fun to do. We're going to leave that for another moment. another time. And it's got kind of a flat side of his head here. So push it into a little bit and then we'll reclaim it. It's got a little bump right there. So here we go. So we're kind of getting this built in there. Got a little couple, now it's kind of a coarse shadow thing going on in here. Definitely a little more to the shadow up through here and so forth. A little more unified up in there. It looks pretty lumpy. Okay. And there'll be some texture that comes down in here and claims some of this. Okay, and then in here just lightens up a bit. I'll push that through. Anyway, so in a nutshell, there we go. It's not perfect, but that's what we're gonna do for now. So anyway, you guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope it's useful. I had a good time doing it. And again, this is not for assignment. It's just for you to watch and learn from, but you're welcome to do it and to submit it to me if you want to. I'm going to just do one thing I missed that I forgot to see. You can probably see it loud and clear. This alarm. As I zoomed out there to show you the end product, I realized I left the arm completely out. So we're just going to throw that in real quick. I don't want to mess up too much else as I do it. Just going to suggest that little guy in there. And that's quite a light light. That's probably one of those places I wished I'd preserved in the end, and kept it a little purer, more pure light, but I'm not going to worry about it. That's what we got right now. Okay, so there we go. A little bit better. Got that pie in there. So anyway, guys, hey, once again, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy this. And sorry it's too kind of long, but this is what we'd be doing in studio. So anyway, good luck with your attempt and your try, and take care and draw on, you guys. Draw on. And there we are with the end part. Thanks. We'll see you. Bye-bye.